Hello, my name is Ishbin Brian. My channel focuses primarily on education, freebies, tips, and tricks, and in today's video, we're going to be looking over how I created this falling skulls effect in Blender. So once you start a Blender project, you will have your default cube, your camera, your light. Feel free to leave those if you want, or do whatever you'd like with them, but I did bring in this skull here, and feel free to use any object you want. You can either model it or purchase a model and bring it in. So what I'm going to do is just rotate my skull, because I am going to have the camera facing this way. And I'm going to click on my cube and go ahead and go to this scale button over here, and we are going to drag it like this to the right and raise the height here. So I basically want to fill this entire rectangle with skulls. There we go. And if I want to see through it, I can hit the little X-ray here so I can see that's a pretty large skull. So I'm going to go ahead and click the skull and shrink it down a little bit. I think that should be a pretty good size there. So now I'm going to take my camera here and get inside of it. Feel free to put your camera wherever you like, but I'm going to basically fill this space right here. Boom. Just so you can see that my rectangle here goes along the edges of the camera. So when my skulls fall in, they kind of just line up in here and fill up the space. So once you have your skull inside your cereal box here, you're going to make sure your rectangle wall is selected and go over to the physics properties, which is this little circle thing right here, and go ahead and change it into rigid body, and then change your type. This is important. You got to change it to passive so it doesn't go through it. And that's pretty good. I like to hit convex hole here, change that to mesh under the shape. And there we go. So you'll see, you don't see any changes now, but you will later. So while we still have this wall selected, we also don't want it to be visible. So over here in your scene collection area, you're going to disable in renders and hide in viewport. And if you don't see that option to disable in renders, you can go up here to this filter and make sure it's active there by hitting it. So now if we go back into our camera view, we don't see anything. So I'm going to take my skull and I'm going to give it a little height here so it drops down a little faster. And I'm also going to go into the physics tab here on the right while it's selected and go to rigid body. And we can keep that active. You could change your mass, decide how heavy you want them to be. I'll just make them like 2.2 kilograms, and then don't change any of this stuff. So now if I play back, it'll fall, but it'll stay within that rectangle that we had created. And you can see that it falls through the bottom of the floor here. It's totally fine because our rectangle goes under the floor. So typically you would want to move it up if you wanted to, right here. So if I wanted to change my camera angle now, I can see where the skull kind of lands. I could just angle it here so it just hits the bottom of my screen here. All right, so that looks pretty good. We do want to fill up the rest of this area though with a bunch of skulls. So what I'm going to do is go back up to my skulls out of the camera view, and we're going to get fancy with it and just Control V. You could make an array, you could do a bunch of different randomizers. I like to just manually adjust these. This is kind of a longer process, but it helps you just kind of randomize them on your own, because there will be some that we have to delete that overflow. And then if we play it back. So before we get any further with this, I would like to relight this before it starts slowing down my computer with a bunch of physics added to a bajillion skulls. So I'm going to Shift A, add a light, go to point, and I'm going to bring this up here to the left. And let's go ahead and change it by hitting the object data properties here and change the color of that light. Let's make it cyan and magenta, my two favorite colors. What do you know? And to bring up the power. So just like that, Boom. I am going to make my world black, so this helps. So if I click on the world, go to color, bring it down so I can see the light a little bit better there. And then I can bring up the power of that light again. So I'm going to make another one. I'm just going to duplicate that one. And I'm going to change that to magenta. It's kind of nice. Actually, let's make this one blue. Yeah. You know, our Neo Tokyo vibes. Okay. Still not very bright, so I can duplicate these lights a little more. So we have our skulls falling into our rectangle. And now we want them to fill up the entire screen. So what we're going to do is go ahead and go to our skulls. And I'm going to drop them into different areas. Oops. Start that one there. Start this one a little over here. Start that one here. And I'm just going to duplicate them. And then I can rotate each one individually if I want. So maybe this one is starting like this. They're just coming from different angles. And what I've learned is we're going to need a lot of these skulls to fill this area. So I am just going to duplicate another layer of them. All right, so now we have a bunch of skulls. We can hit play. And it's going to pre-render these skulls, and they should all stay within our wall that we created. There we go. Not bad, but we're definitely going to need a lot more skulls. So probably about double of that. So I can just do this again and bring it up. There we go. And if you'd like to rotate them individually, you can. It's been a while since we've seen these same ones, so should be pretty good here. Let's try it again. So this one's flying away because he got hit up there, and so is that one. So sometimes you don't want to start with two of them too close to each other. I tend to just delete those. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and they're all staying within the screen there. Not bad. Now that we change it to our render mode here, look at that. It looks magnificent. Thanks for watching my video, everyone. Hope this is helpful for all of your music videos and other projects. Please like, comment, subscribe, because I do give out freebies and free education. Thank you.